Ruben versus Pepijn. So Pepijn with the Sultai Muldrota Elementals nodes with mono blue again with some updates. Let's hope we get a nice match here. And for some reason our camera has gone a bit wonky. Let's see if we can adjust that. Put some more grain on the image, but at least it's visible now. As we see a mist-cloaked herald getting curiously obsessed. That's going to be a key card in the match for Ruben. Very much built around optimizing this card as much as possible. We had the fungal infection to try and fight back, but a spell pierce to protect for Ruben. He gets to deploy his plan. Pepijn gets his turn 3 Risen Reef, very much the value engine which his deck is built around. So much like in round 1, we're going into a early, more card advantaged grind phase before we actually start looking at life totals as a way to win the game. Go Ruben, Team St. Niklaas, and I apparently have to remember to smile more and be a happy little Viking. Otherwise, it's good that I'm not female. You should smile more. So, second Risen Reef. Multiplying the triggers. Pteramander. That's the heavy hitter out of the mono blue deck. Since we're playing Gentry, they don't have access to the full playset of the Djinns. What are they called again? Tempest Djinns. So they have to rely on other cards to actually finish the games. Another fungal infection and another spell pierce here. Gets rid of that threat as Pepijn is trying to wear down that counter defense that Ruben has. It looks like Ruben has quite the protection still up here. Dusk Legion Zealot. For Pepijn, digging a bit deeper. Spark has the Spark Harvest to get rid of the Obsessed. And I think that was an Essence Scatter on the Leafkin Druid, yes. Ruben apparently professional at angling his card so that the reflection falls on it perfectly. What is this? Words of Wind, Winged Words. And deck got a few fun tools to work with. And we have Siren Storm Tamer. For Ruben, if only he had that one turn earlier to protect his Mist-Cloaked Herald. Going on the offensive here, and we get a Sailor. What's the name of the Spectral Sailor? And we have a Ravenous Chupacabra following up that attack. Oof, I have a Kefnet. So the plan here for Ruben was clearly to grind out Pepijn's hand until he could drop Kefnet and then hopefully win off that. So like a reverse black-white disruption game plan. Thrashing Brontodon. It's an interesting addition to the deck that gives it the ability to fight with a Curious Obsession without targeting the creature. That bypasses Siren Storm Tamers and Dive Downs. So it's a very important piece of utility that Pepijn has in this match here. And finally the players have settled into a more relaxed pace. We've been rushing pretty neck break through this. Pepijn in the tank here, looking for options. Let's see what he comes up with. Decides to go onto the offensive after a adapted attack from Ruben. But I'm curious what the follow-up is here. The interesting thing is that Massacre Girl doesn't even work because it stops after it kills the Ravenous Chupacabra. There's no 3 toughness creature to bridge onward. Yeah, I also don't understand the block there. But knowing that Kefnet is coming after it, I think he wanted to get the card advantage off the board, hoping that Pepijn would be stuck without answers. And it seems that worked. So we have Ruben taking game 1 in very swift fashion. So let's see. As I said, Ruben is on mono blue Curious Obsession. And it's a very standard list. Not much optimizations have happened since M20. We've seen the Winged Words. He also has the Mu Yanling, which has become a mainstay in the deck, and the Spectral Sailor as a one-off. He is he still playing? So his uncommons are Terramanders, Curious Obsession, Siren Storm Tamers, 1 Spectral Sailor, and 2 Merfolk Tricksters. So doesn't have the counter spell anymore, which is important to know. Sideboard is 1 Essence Scatter, 2 Fairy Duelist, 4 Negates, 3 Casmina's Transmutations, 2 Unsummons, 1 Dive Down, and 2 Blink of an Eye. Now the deck he's playing against is odd in that it tries to do a lot of things through creatures rather than through spells, but still that Neo form is super important. So I think we might see, we'll definitely see the extra Essence Scatter coming in, but it looks like he's bringing in 3 more cards, most likely the Casmina's Transmutations, but then the Neo forms make those super awkward because you get to sacrifice the creature that was Casmina transmutationed, and it still has the same converted mana cost. Yeah, Kyle, you're right there. There was a line of play that was most likely better. But of course, hindsight is 2020, and once you've stuck with this plan in your head, so it looks like Pepijn is sideboarding 4 cards, and in his deck he has Disdainful Stroke, Dive Down, Duress, Negate, Return to Nature, Secrets of the Golden City, Soul Savage, and Undercity's Embrace. I think this is literally a copy paste. Yeah, this is a copy paste of Sander's deck we saw in round 1. Pretty sure the Duresses are coming in, but I'm not sure what that 4th card is that he wants to board in. There are some options for him, but it won't matter. We'll find out soon enough, as both of our players are done sideboarding and are ready to throw themselves relentlessly and recklessly into the battlefield that is the Gentry Open round 3, game 2, after Ruben won game 1. We talked about the importance of some decks in the metagame, and I think mono blue is the counterpart to the mono red deck. Where mono red, we said it's easy to pick up but hard to master. Mono blue is pretty much the masochist's choice. It's insanely hard to play. You have to know the possibilities that your opponent has. You have to calculate tempo versus options. I'm not sure where I was going with that sentence, but tempo versus advantage, mostly card advantage. And anytime you make a mistake, it can just straight up cost you the game. On the other hand, it's probably the deck that has the highest skill ceiling, so the more time you put into it, the better you get with it, the better the results keep on coming and keep on coming and keep on coming. And the fact that we see Ruben here on it, having played it half a year ago to such a great result, got the trophy with it, makes him a very scary opponent. There's another very good player, Peter Steenbeke, who's also on the deck, and they were actually playing against each other in round 2, Ruben and Peter. Well, we have Ruben mulliganing, going to 6 cards now. As again, in the background, we see some of those top tables playing. I can spot an Allen there. Renzo is sitting there as well. Christophe van Olsbeek, Arthur Hugaert, Sander de Kank, Bob Jacobs. I think Tom de Waal is also hanging out there. So those top 6 tables are heavyweights of the format for sure. But it looks like we have started game 2 with some life gain lands and a Terramander. Leafkin for Pepijn, and we get the Curious Obsession straight up here. There's only very little interaction that Pepijn has. We've already seen those fungal infections, and with not having any black mana, pushing that Curious Obsession there is very safe. But we have a Vine Mare, which is a very big problem for the mono blue deck, as it has issues with pushing through fast enough. It's more about getting an advantage in the early game and winning off that advantage in the late game by just going wide and having some Terramanders or hopefully the Jin fill out the curve. And here he needs to worry about both protection and making sure he survives that Vine Mare. So yep, sack it to deny him the Saprolin token. Gets a visit from a little horsey. And again, it's amazing just how much influence fungal infection has on this format. Terramancer comes in, draws a card for Ruben. Gets another Terramander. And is still choosing to keep up more protection rather than committing more to the board. I think he has a game plan where he just needs more cards to wrap up this game. As we see, he's not really putting a lot of pressure on the life total on Pepijn here. Also not a lot of spells in the graveyard, so he's very far away from adapting any of his Terramanders. Ooh, and Pepijn drew his Night Veil Predator. Spark Harvest. Sacrificing a Leafkin and getting rid of the Terramander that was holding the obsession, and advantage Pepijn in a very big way now. At least we have a body coming up that can block and kill a Vinemare, but without hexproof or any innate protection. It's going to be pretty rough for that Sphinx to stick around. Now we have the mana for the Night Veil Predator, but we're going Risen Reef first. Still advantage Pepijn. Take the trade here. Yep, I think that's enough. Vicious Offering would walk into the Spell Pierce that Ruben is holding, and I think Pepijn is aware of it. But even if that happens, they still trade, and Pepijn has the value engine running, so I still think you just take it here. Yep, this is a known and calculated trade. This Pepijn now has a healthy life total and his card advantage engine on the table. Oof! Cosmina's Transmutation. One of the better answers to a Risen Reef for sure. Okay, and we're down to single digits for Ruben. Now Pepijn is looking for something. Yep, there we go. Night Veil Predator. The big bad boy. Brought in especially for other elemental decks, but gets Essence Scattered right out of the way. Spectral Sailor follows up. Will give Ruben another engine to get to lands. To get to extra cards. Wow, it's really been a long weekend for me. And finds a Siren Storm Tamer. So actually gets the first opportunity to rebuild his board here. Neoform, like I said, Cosmina's Transmutation is interesting, but Neoform sort of breaks through that. Such an important card in Gentry right now, it gives so many options. And which 4-drop are we going for? Is it another Vinemare? It's a Golgari Pawnbroker. Find Broker. Getting back the Night Veil Predator. Gets a +1/+1 counter from the Neoform, and there's the Night Veil Predator. Advantage Pepijn again. Although Ruben has that Spectral Sailor that he can spin for quite a bit of card advantage. He doesn't have a lot of time to do so though. As Spell Pierces are a decreasingly valuable commodity. I think it's 3 mana to activate the Terramander. That's what we've gotten indicated there. Fine broker, yes. Thank you. I always count on chat to help me out in my times of need. Another land. Mistcloaked Herald and 2 Spell Pierces is a pretty poor plan at this point in the game. I think I might even have drawn an extra card instead of playing the Mistcloaked here. Nightveil Predator and the Fine Broker are coming in. Do we want to take the chum block already? It looks like we do. Dropping down to 2. And we get a Ravenous Chupacabra. And I think that pretty near wraps up what avenue Ruben has to win this game. Gets land number 9 in a 20 land deck. And Ruben sees it. He still had the adapt for the Pteramander to try to make an impact, but with the Death Touch on Nightveil Predator, that wasn't more than a bit of a speed bump. So 1-1 in round 3 here. Pepijn versus Ruben. Will either player revisit their sideboard? Ruben might be a bit disappointed by how functional those Spell Pierces were. With Pepijn showing that he's very aware and willing to play around the Spell Pierces with his Neoforms. Both players decide that it's worth to have another look. Ruben here proudly using the deck box that he got at the previous edition. Well played by Pepijn. Yes, Pepijn played very well around multiple cards there. He's definitely a very impressive and interesting technical player that a lot of people could learn from. And it looks like we're getting a little bit of a revision out of Pepijn, not so much from Ruben. And we're going to game 3 with 25 minutes left in the clock. No, Pepijn hasn't decided on the final configuration of his deck yet. Okay, let's hope for a nice and interactive game number 3. Apparently I still have the Deckmaster extension open, which I wasn't intending to. Okay, and we have the one-off Spectral Sailor again. Gets curiously obsessed without having land number 2. Can get away with that because so far... No, we have seen the Vicious Offering actually, so... It's a bit of greedy... A bit on the greedy side for Ruben, for sure. But Ruben keeps finding the tools he needs here, especially the lands in this case. Oh, and we have the duress from Pepijn. So those came in from the side. Gets spell pierced. So the identity of Ruben's hand stays a secret. Vicious Offering also gets spell pierced. So those spell pierces near useless game 2 and have been instrumental in staying in this game here in game 3. And we have a Pteramander threatening to be the clock that ends the game here, as we see that Ruben still has Essence Scatters, and that's with multiples. Another Spell Pierce, and I haven't seen what the third card is there. Curious Obsession number 2. And we see Ruben increasing his pace of play, clearly indicating the excitement that he feels that he might be winning. I think the back card of his hand is a Cosmina's Transmutation. So we see Pepijn with double Cloudkin Seer, double Neoform, struggling. Ruben can choose to resolve this. Oh, if this turns into Neoform for Chupacabra, it's going to run into a Spell Pierce and be so devastating. So does Pepijn feel like this is worth taking a gamble for? He's already seen 2 Spell Pierces. Or is he going to play safe? He has a Spark Harvest and a Fungal Infestation. So there's quite a bit of setup that he can do for next turn. Yeah, that is a Cosmina's Transmutation. So now it's the question how patient Ruben wants to be with this situation. Yep, just attacking with the 3/3 flyer is the safest way. Now he's forcing the Fungal Infection, which he can Spell Pierce. That means that the Neoform will most likely resolve. Yeah, no, it just takes it. Wow, that's a bit surprising to me. That both players would be this patient with the entire situation. But yeah, the original plan was to Fungal Infect the Siren Storm Tamer. Ruben lets that go. Has quite a bit of protection left in hand, though most of them counter creature spells at this point. Yeah, Spark Harvest, sacrificing that token. Wow, not even... So is the plan now... Yes, the plan is Pteramander, go for the finish here. Now Pepijn can play Neoform and play around the Spell Pierce. Oh, but it's Syncopate. That's quite a surprising choice out of this deck actually. But it works so very well here. Pteramander comes in when we have the Mu Yanling as a possible follow-up, or another Pteramander, and keeping Essence Scatter open. Yeah, I like that. Oh no, I would have preferred this plan if we kept the Essence Scatter open. But Mu Yanling, Sky Dancer. It's a gorgeous card, that for sure. So next turn we get a 4/4 bird, and as we all know, the bird is the word. As we see those Pteramanders perpetually ticking up to world domination. Grabs the land. Lands is all we want right now. Get to double Essence Scatter. The advantage is very firmly in the camp of Ruben, with both the hand and a board advantage. I think Pepijn already sees some of the writing on the wall here. Body language saying more than words could ever do. Looking through the stack of tokens, I think there's a hand-drawn bird token in there somewhere. Yep, the hand-drawn bird token enters the fray. As Pepijn now has to string together a sequence that not only gets him out of here, but also puts him in a commanding position to take the game. And to be very honest, I don't see it happening without even a Massacre Girl won't get him there. Essence Scatter on the Find Broker reveals the Neoform, scoops up the hand, and we have a winner in round 3. Ruben advances undefeated into the later rounds of this tournament. GG to Ruben, and I will